Shabbat Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the Apostle Elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all for elect. As I'm just sitting here meditating, I just want to get my meditations off into a lesson. And one thing that I was meditating on, essentially, we'll see where this goes with the SNAP benefits, where this goes, where if they'll agree to, make this happen, make it happen, or make it not happen. But, as I was sitting here meditating, I'm just thinking, it's like, as people are, as the scriptures say, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue on forever. We understand that this is not going to go on forever. And if you really look and pay attention to society since the end of 2019 until now, you've seen a decline in society. And I'm not saying just people on earth. I'm talking about mentally, right? Even the brother Bakwar mentioned that at camp this past weekend, that the mentality of people has gone down, right? As if you think about it, look at it, right? As things have gotten actually more serious in the earth, people have actually gotten more stupid and more dumb. And one of the reasons why is because they don't want to deal with the hardships, the seriousness of life. They don't want to deal with that type of stuff. So they will indulge, and there's nothing to a degree wrong with that. We all have our carnal stuff that we indulge in, whether it be video games, movies. There's nothing wrong with that. Whatever you do in your pastime, right? I'm not making that seem like it's evil, right? This is for somebody who may be younger in the faith. But an overindulgence in that is something that you have to watch for. And what people in the world will do is when they hear about things getting serious, they'll try to escape via their vices, whether it be going to the club, partying, partaking in these holidays and things like that, maybe video games, whatever have you. And like I said, these things are not wicked to a degree. Well, holidays are, but some of these things aren't wicked. It's just the excess of it. And it's their wanting to escape from the reality of life that things are not the same since the end of 2019 and before 2019. Things have gotten a lot more serious. Things have gotten a lot more dire in the world, right? Ever since the C-19 and that type of stuff, and how many people were getting sent back up to the spiritual realm. Things have gotten more serious. You have the wars that are happening across between Gaza and Israel, Ukraine and Russia. So things have gotten serious, and we see prophecy playing out. We see the words coming off the pages of the book. And as I'm meditating here, again, people as they want to, because they see it as well. They, in some way, shape, or form, they pay attention to this stuff. They just don't know how to tie it with the scriptures, or they just think, or some people, because I have talked to some people somewhat recently, they know like, okay, World War III, Jesus is coming back, but they don't know the severity of the things that are coming, right? They don't understand that they're going to be in the midst of a abnormal society. And that's a word that I'm going to keep saying or harping on, because just using the SNAP benefits as an example, right? And I'll pull out some precepts as well. I just want to get my meditations out. With the SNAP benefits, and as brothers have said, some brothers have said they think some of the stuff that people put up are fake. I'm coming from the stance of whether it is fake, which I will agree with that. Some of that, it does seem a little too fucking dumb, but, I ain't gonna put it past our people. Some of it does feel too like, okay, like this feels like a setup, but whether it is fake or not, you do have some of our people that will follow in those footsteps, and some of our people who are serious. And you're seeing little snippets here of Jacob's trouble. And you're seeing snippets of an abnormal society. And when I say society, I'm talking about the people. Because as things get abnormal in the word, or let's just focus on the word normal, when people had their benefits, right? When people had things going well for them, they didn't have to think about, oh, I'm going to go to the grocery store and rob it. I didn't have to go think about this. Now these thoughts are coming into their mind. Why? Because they're in abnormal, right? Or things are becoming abnormal for them, right? Their lives are being affected by prophecy, right? The walls of prophecy, if you will, which I may title it that, are caving in. You're getting ready to have to deal with the same things that you wanted to ignore, the men that you didn't want to pay attention to. You're getting ready, and we're getting ready to see that some of you people, the same ones that scoffed and scorned, that didn't want to listen, that didn't want to take heed, that wanted to ignore prophecy, you're getting ready to have to face prophecy. A lot of you are living it. With this whole SNAP benefits taken away, specifically from you women, you're having to deal with what? Like the scriptures say, rise up, ye women that are at ease. And no longer do we have, I'm not saying we'll still get the precept, or I'm still quoting it, but I don't really have to go into deep breakdowns of Isaiah 32. Like, just look around. Look at people when they are, lamenting online, putting up what they're putting up, whether it be on YouTube, TikTok. You're literally speaking for Isaiah 32, verse 9. Many days and years shall ye be trembled. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Give ear unto my speech, ye careless daughters. You're showing why that's written, because you've been careless. They shall lament for the teats, for the fruitful fields. You're showing that because what? That fruit fulfills the benefits, and they're not coming in, which is the SNAP benefits. So now you're lamenting for the teats. What am I supposed to do if the government's not going to help me? Well, you've had feminism. You've had your independent walk. Why don't you go out there and work? A lot of you women plaster on about how you're so independent this, you're so independent that. Now is your time to show it. You didn't want to have a man, right? And that's not every woman, but some of you have put on, hey, I'm independent. I can do everything by myself. I can be both mommy and daddy. Well, now it's time to show that. Now it's time to put on your pants, right? I wear the pants in this house. Well, okay. Well, now seeing as how you wear the pants, you're going to have to make some decisions. And some of those decisions that people are coming up with, which is essentially, hey, I'm going to have to steal stuff. And that's what scriptures talk about. Excuse me. Second Ezra. For great tribulation, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor for lack of bread and for great tribulation. People are stealing stuff for who? For themselves. They're not thinking about the next person. Oh, hey, yo, mom. No. When you see these women, regardless if it's real or fake, do you think that they're thinking about their whole family? No. They're thinking about themselves and their kids. Who I got to feed? Myself. Another precept that comes to mind is Matthew, the 24th chapter, where it talks about what? The love of many shall wax cold. Why? Because society is no longer normal. It's abnormal. As the saying goes, it's a dog-eat-dog world. That's essentially every man for himself. So as society goes this direction, people are going to become a lot more. You're going to see those demons come out, right? I want to hit on this point because essentially this is what something that I was also meditating on as well, is that you're seeing the demons that have always been on people start to manifest themselves, right? One person I'll use for an example is like Cam Newton, right? Cam Newton has demons on him. He's a man of the world and things like that, obviously. But ever since I personally saw that interview with him between him and Jason Wilson, I think the guy's name is. I know his first name is Jason. I think his last name may be Wilson. I could be wrong. The guy with the gray beard. And he was, starting to get on Cam about certain things. And, when he wouldn't make the, hand gesture and things like that, you can see the face, the demons come out of Cam Newton. You can see them start to manifest on his face. And ever since then, because I sometimes, I have my little things that I watch football wise. Cam Newton has his little, I guess it's a podcast. It's called 4th and 1. And now every time I look at Cam Newton, I can't see him the same anymore. All I can see is that there's demons on him now. It's very visible now, for me at least. Maybe for other brothers, it's very visible for you. But hey, for me, and maybe that is because I looked at him as, Cam Newton football, media personality or whatever. But ever since that interview and that guy got on him, I can now see the demons. They're present there. That interaction between him and Jason Wilson, if that's his name, it showed the demons. And that's the same thing that's happening right now with these SNAP benefits and people worrying about it, not having it. You're seeing the demons that were always there being present now, right? So now it's that stealing demon was always there. It's just under normal circumstances, there was no reason for them to go out and steal because they had their benefits or society, things in the world, things were going well for them. But when things become abnormal, which is not normal, the normal course of life is no longer normal, those demons that were always there start to become a little bit more present now. And now they have that conversation in the mind where it's like, yo, what are you going to do? You got to eat. You got kids. Or you got to eat. You got to do something. Government give you no benefits. What you going to do? And because these people have always been carnal, they've always lived this way, and those demons have always been there, they start to manifest. They start to come out. And now what? They're starting to go into these stores and I want to take things and I'll put it out there. You're seeing the folly demon on people because that's so stupid that you're putting your face out there, which, like I said, I will agree with brothers that, some of it has to be set up because you can't be that stupid. But some people will be that stupid. Of our people, you blacks, Latinos, specifically black Americans, right, will be that stupid and put that out there. And act like, oh, what did I do? I'm just trying to show you how to do it. I believe it was Bakwar, he shared something in the chat about a woman, she had a big enough purse, and she was like, listen, I'm going to show you what to do. You don't get whatever pack of meat too big. You get one good enough to slip in your bag, and you come in, you walk out. Dummy, you do know that the supermarkets have cameras, right? But you see, all these things are going to lead to eventually having things be what? Digital. See, this is why Esau has these things playing out. All these things as well help to forwarding the society that he wants. But if that, let's just say that that is an actual thing, right? Or there is someone out there that actually does it. Under normal circumstances, you would have never thought that that person was a thief. You would have never thought that that person would do that type of stuff. But because things are the pressure, right? Now all of a sudden those demons manifest, and now you're seeing them do things that they normally wouldn't do. So it's the same thing we know cannibalism is in the scriptures. Mothers are going to eat their children. That spirit has always been there. It's just under normal circumstances, those demons didn't need to manifest. But under abnormal circumstances, those demons will manifest. The same thing with murder. There are people who have the spirit of murder on them, but because things are normal, because there's no lack of bread and for great tribulation, that spirit doesn't need to be manifest right now. But as we go down this line of prophecy, those demons are going to manifest themselves to where the same thing like you see in like The Walking Dead, right? If I'm not mistaken, one of the characters, Negan, he was a normal guy. He was a chill guy. He had a wife, if I'm not mistaken. That's why I think the bat that he has, its name is Lucille, because I think it's named after his wife, if I'm not mistaken. He was a normal guy before society became abnormal. But what happened when society became abnormal? Those demons that were always there, that violence that he had, it was always there. There was just no reason to be violent with people like that, to do those type of things, because it wasn't needed. Society's chill. You would seem like a madman, a crazy person to do those things. But because society, to a degree, calls for it now, those demons get to come out and play now. They get to come out and show themselves. And now you get to see the true colors of people. There's a saying, adversity introduces a man to himself. And that's what you're seeing with prophecy. Prophecy is adversity, right? Adverse to some of these people. And it's showing people, it's showing who people truly are. The same thing, like the saying goes, adversity introduces a man to himself. You learn about yourself as you go through adversity, as you go through certain things. You learn, and you learn things about yourself that you didn't know. Like, I didn't know I was that type of person. I didn't know I would feel these type of emotions. But when things are no longer going your way, you start to see that oh snap, when things were fine, you know, I wouldn't have thought like that. I wouldn't have moved like that. But now, because things, that pressure, now it's like, oh, like, damn, what the hell? So let's get a precept I have here. The brother Ashiar brought this out this past weekend. This is Genesis 47. Start verse 15. I believe 18 or 19 is the point. It says, and when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread. For why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And Joseph said, Give your cattle, and I will give for your cattle. And I will give for your cattle if money fail. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses, and he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, We will not hide it from my lord, how that our money is spent. My lord also hath our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my lord, but our bodies and lands. So we ain't got nothing left but ourselves and our lands. This is the people speaking to Joseph. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread. And we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate. So, under normal circumstances, these people wouldn't sit there and say, hey, we'll be servants unto Pharaoh. We'll give ourselves and our land unto Pharaoh if things were normal, if there wasn't a famine in the land of Egypt. But because things were abnormal in Egypt, the famine, and they had, spent everything that they had, hey, yo, Joseph, look, we ain't even gonna front. We ain't got nothing left. All we got is ourselves. We got ourselves and land. We give ourselves up for that to Pharaoh, and you give us food. You give us bread. Under normal circumstances, they would have never done that. But, like the saying goes, adversity introduces a man to himself. You start to see what people truly are and what they're really willing to do when they're pressured. Example, or not example, quote from a movie. I'm going to try to quote this as best I can. I used to watch this movie like all the time, but it's been a while. When they caught the Joker after he had that interrogation scene, I'm quoting The Dark Knight. After that interrogation scene with Batman and the Joker, and Batman left to go find Harvey and Rachel, it was the Joker and that policeman in the interrogation room. And the Joker starts saying, I want my phone call. I want my phone call. And the officer is like, that's nice. And then Joker says, do you want to know why I use a knife? Guns are too quick. You can't savor all the little emotions. And he's saying all these things to get underneath the man's skin. You see, in their last moments, people show you who they really are. So in a way, I knew your friends better than you ever did. Would you like to know which of them were cowards? And he said that to get under his skin. And that sounds hella crazy and psychotic. But the Joker had a point. That the reason why he doesn't use a gun is because it's quick. But a knife, I'm not trying to sound psychotic, you can savor the moment as the Joker wanted to. And the Joker saw which of the policemen were cowards. That's why he said that to them, that you've only seen them essentially when they're brave, but you don't know the real them like I know them. Do you want to know which of your officers were cowards? And that's essentially what you're seeing with society, is that when the pressure comes, you get to see who people are. And that's why I use that interview between Jason Wilson and Cam Newton, that when that guy started speaking biblical things to Cam Newton and getting on him about certain things, you saw the demons present in Cam Newton that you really normally wouldn't see when he's like on his 4th and 1 podcast, or if he's on like, what is it, First Take or something like that, or some ESPN, whatever it's called in the morning, or Sports Center, I don't know, right? You normally wouldn't see that. But in that moment, you got to see who Cam Newton truly was. As we see these people getting pressured, you're getting to see who these people truly are, right? The scriptures also say, friends shall fight one another like enemies. Why is that? Because of the pressure, things getting very serious. But under normal circumstances, these guys were friends. They were the best of friends. But why is it now they're fighting? Why would friends fight each other like that? That spirit was always there. I don't give a damn about you. I'm going to do what I got to do for me. But again, remember, when things are normal, when everything is going everybody's way, you don't see that spirit. It's when things are not going people's way, when society is abnormal, you start to see who a person truly is. That I don't give a fuck. Now, think about it. You may have been friends with this guy and you may have seen it like, yo, man, I don't give a fuck about niggas. I don't give a fuck. I only give a fuck about my dogs. Only me and you, we rocking together. But that spirit was always there. That I don't give a fuck about nobody. I only give a fuck about me. But he'll slide in there as well. You know, I only give a fuck about me and my niggas. But he's telling you, I don't give a fuck about nobody. Unless I fuck with you. But the day I stop fucking with you, the day I stop caring about you, I'm going to put you in that same category as everybody else. I don't give a damn about you. And that's how friends are going to fight one another like enemies. Because they're going to put you in that category of, I don't give a damn about you. We ain't friends no more. That's going to be very easy for women to do. Women easily do that type of stuff. Any little thing happen, they quick to just depart and not want to be friends or talk to anybody. So that's going to be easy for women to do. But, just wanted to speak my meditations, just things that I've just been looking at. And it's just like, because a couple of weeks ago, some individual came up on the live stream and said that, oh, if nothing happens November 1st, you guys need to stop talking. But I'm pretty sure that person's not going to see this video. But you have to understand that when prophecy spikes, right, when things happen prophetically and it starts to spike, if you will, for lack of a better word, you start to see little snippets, and that's why I'm getting across here, of Jacob's trouble, of what people are willing to do. Things are not bad now. Things are still to a degree normal. But you see with people losing their SNAP benefits, a spike for a second. And it's like, oh, this is what people are willing to do. So again, like I was saying, those demons are there. They're just chained down to a degree. There's no reason for me to do anything or go crazy really right now because things are still normal. But when things become abnormal, those demons are going to be unchanged. And you're going to see these same people that when society was normal, they seem normal. You're going to start to see them do abnormal things. Murdering, stealing, right? Beating people. You're going to see people who you thought that were so soft, that were so kind-hearted, beating the shit out of people. Another example, the Book of Eli. In the beginning of that movie, that woman that was luring men for the other men, and it didn't work on I guess the character's name was Eli, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they ever said his name in the movie, if I'm not mistaken. But Denzel Washington's character, if his name is Eli, she tried that, but he already knew what was up. But for some other men, obviously because they've been doing it for a while, she was able. Now, under normal society, you wouldn't think that woman would do that. Why would she ever set up men? But think about it. We know, well, let me not say we know, but there have been stories of women that set men up for stuff, right? Women who have accused men of rape, right? And they have gotten locked up, right? But there are women out there who have that spirit on them to set men up. But there's no reason to right now. But when there is a reason to, because society is abnormal, that same nice little innocent girl that you saw that you wouldn't think that she would actually do something like this, she's going to set men up. She's going to do whatever she needs to do to feed herself. Same thing with some of these women who become, prostitutes and porn. Like, oh, you look like a nice little girl. Find out she got her OnlyFans. What the fuck? I wouldn't think she would, but because, hey, I got pressured in life, I got to do something. See? So I don't want to keep, hammering the point. I believe the point has been made, but just this is where we're at. And, as I was sitting here meditating, it's like there's but so long this can last for. There's but so long this could go on for. Ever since the end of 2019, as the Lord keeps making things happen over and over, eventually there's going to be something that cracks, something that breaks, right? Think about like if you play with, let's use a stick for an example, right? Let's say you're playing with a stick and you keep trying to bend it, but you're not trying to bend it to the point that it breaks, but you're playing with it, if you know what I mean. You're just slightly bending it, but you don't understand that when you're slightly bending it, there are little tears. You may not see them, but those tears are there. And that's society. Anytime something happens, what it is tearing society, slowly but surely, right? You may not see it, but those little tears are there. And as you keep bending it, playing with it, slightly bending it, not enough to break, snap it, not to do that, but you're just playing with it, slightly bending it. Eventually, you're going to keep ripping it until those fibers get loose. And then one day you're going to maybe bend it not put too much pressure, but you're going to bend it thinking, oh, I'm just going to keep doing what I normally do. It doesn't go any far. And then it breaks. And it's like, oh, shit. And that's all we're waiting for is that one prophecy to happen to where it's like, and now it's like, okay, all hell breaks loose. Things get crazy. Or the dominoes just start falling into place. And now it's like, from here on out, there's really no going back from this point on. But to people in the world, they just think that, this is just a time in history. Things will get back better. But nah, we're days gone from that. Things is not going to get any better. Things is only going to get worse. And with those SNAP benefits, people being affected by that, you're seeing what people are going to do. If you pay attention, as brothers say, we're in the time of Jacob's trouble. Well, you're seeing little snippets of what will happen during Jacob's trouble on a small scale. So, I pray and hope that this video has been edifying. I'll end it here. In ending, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostle, elders, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all elect. Shabbat Shalom.